Presence is the fertile soil where memory blooms and life becomes truly lived. Something strange is happening to us, and it's not loud or dramatic. It's subtle, quiet, but deeply unsettling. The days go by, and we just can't seem to remember what we lived. It's like a fog is silently erasing our memories. Try to remember yesterday, not your job, not what went viral on social media, but a simple, real moment, a smile, a scent, a sound that moved you. Can you? Or does it feel like yesterday just disappeared? Something is wrong, and the scariest part is, no one's noticing. Because it doesn't hurt, it doesn't bleed, there's no alarm going off. Just a slow, quiet emptiness, an emotional numbness that's stealing us bit by bit from ourselves. Life is being lived on silent mode. You wake up, grab your phone, scroll while you sip your coffee, head to work, reply, rush, deliver, and suddenly, the day's over. You were alive, but you don't remember living. Routine has become an automatic sequence of actions filled with too many stimuli and too little presence. This isn't just forgetfulness. It's your brain trying to survive. And worst of all, this isn't a personal issue. It's a collective phenomenon. We're all losing pieces of ourselves every day, and hardly anyone notices. Today, I want to tell you what's behind all this. You're not sick, you're being emptied. Your body is here, but your soul is on standby. Can you feel how your days are all starting to look the same? It's not that you lost control, you lost your rhythm. It's not that you don't have goals, you forgot your purpose. And instead of the silence you need to hear yourself, you got another notification, another message, another video, another piece of content to distract you. While inside, you remain blank. This breakdown is silent because it's happening to all of us. And the more broken people we surround ourselves with, the more normal it feels. Have you noticed how everything got too fast? Not just the internet, the downloads, the messages, but life, time, relationships, decisions. Things don't just happen anymore, they run us over. One video after another, a conversation that barely begins and is already forgotten, an idea that doesn't mature before it's replaced. We are burning the soul's timeline. We live at machine speed, but we still inhabit an ancient body. Our biology was designed for nature's rhythm, day and night, effort and rest, movement and stillness. But now, everything happens at once. Everything is urgent. Everything needed to be done yesterday, and the cost. An overwhelmed mind trying to keep up with a pace it was never meant to endure. Pause for a second. How many times today were you truly silent? Not watching, not listening, not replying, not thinking, just silent. When was the last time you just waited without reaching for your phone? The truth is, we've lost the ability to live in real time. Everything is rushed, chewed up, sped up. We feed off fragments of time, of attention, of affection, and we call that living. But deep down, we're starving for presence, for pause, for something that lasts longer than 15 seconds. Time used to be lived. Now it's just filled. We live in a cruel paradox. The faster we rush to keep up with the world, the more we disconnect from ourselves. It's like running on a treadmill. You get tired, your energy drains, but in the end, you're still in the same place. And it's not just adults anymore. Kids don't even know how to be bored. Boredom, once the fertile ground of creativity, has become unbearable. We put screens in front of their eyes before teaching them to sit in silence. And we do the same to ourselves. Every free micro-moment in line, at a red light, between meetings gets filled with stimulation, as if real life has lost its flavor, and only digital distraction still brings a sense of pleasure. The result? That constant feeling of living without being present, of ending the day and not remembering what you truly lived, of looking back and feeling like the week flew by, but you weren't really in it. This invisible rush has stolen our sense of contemplation, and with it, we've lost depth. Conversations have become shallow, exchanges rushed, feelings edited. Have you noticed how hard it is nowadays to have a face-to-face conversation that lasts more than 10 minutes? How many times have you seen someone pull out their phone mid-conversation and just drift away? Not physically, but mentally. That's not bad manners. It's a reflection of a world that trained us to be constantly distracted. We live in response mode so much that we've forgotten how to reflect. And without reflection, there's no awareness. And without awareness, there's no real life. Have you ever felt like life is just dragging you along, like a loose leaf blowing in the wind? No direction, no control. Just going with the flow, trying to pretend you're in charge. Day after day, it feels like time is slipping through your fingers. The week starts, and in the blink of an eye, it's Friday. The days just melt away, and the scariest part, you can't remember almost anything you've lived through. You woke up, did 1,000 things, had dozens of conversations, watched countless videos, but you don't remember what you had for lunch. Nothing seems to have really touched you. And when the month ends, there's this strange emptiness, like nothing truly meaningful happened. That's not just distraction. It's your brain trying to survive. Our brain is a machine, built for efficiency. It doesn't store everything, only what it sees as essential. And how does it decide what's worth keeping? The answer is simple. It uses 3 filters: novelty, emotion, and symbolism. If something surprises you, moves you, or holds symbolic value, your brain gets the message. This matters, and then it stores it. That's why you remember the day you got your heart broken, or that silent sunset during a trip, but you have no idea what you did last Tuesday. That's not a failure, it's a filter. The problem is that, in modern life, we live on autopilot. Days blend into each other. There are so many stimuli that they cancel each other out, and emotion has become a rare commodity. Everything happens fast, repetitively, superficially, without meaning. The brain simply discards it. It deletes the experience. It doesn't turn it into memory. So what's left? A trail of empty days, whole months without a single memorable moment, years that go by, leaving no story behind. You're busy all the time, yet it feels like you're not really living anything real. Want a practical example? Think about your childhood. You remember the simple moments, playing in the street, the smell of your grandma's cooking, a heartfelt conversation with someone you cared about, a trip, a small victory. Now think about the past few weeks. How many moments did you live with that same emotional intensity? A few, maybe. None. And it's not because your life is bad. It's because there's no room for true emotional presence. We're always scattered, our heads in 1,000 places, our bodies here, but our minds anywhere else. Without depth, memory doesn't stick. And without memory, life becomes a blur. A Harvard University study followed people for decades to answer one question: what truly makes someone happy? The answer wasn't money, or success, or the number of experiences. It was presence. Presence and meaningful connection. Being fully there in the moment, giving your full attention, feeling deeply. Presence and memory are sisters. Where there is no presence, there is no memory. And where there is no memory, there is no story. Remember what we said. The brain holds on to what stands out, what's new, what stirs emotion, what has meaning. But when every day looks the same, filled with noise, rush, and distraction, the brain starts to think, none of this really matters. So it begins to clean up, to filter, to erase, and what's left? A trail of days, with no memory. What you're feeling isn't poetry, it's neuroscience. Too much stimulation dulls emotional depth. When everything is loud, nothing stands out. When everything moves fast, nothing sinks in. When everything is shown, nothing is truly lived. And living like that is exhausting. You feel like you're constantly pushing, but you're not building a meaningful life story. You're always doing something, but without a clear purpose. And slowly, this life without memory turns into emptiness. Not because something is missing out there, but because memory is missing. In here, and without memory, no matter how much is happening, it feels like nothing really happened at all. We live in the age of hyperconnection, and yet, ironically, we've never felt so disconnected. Conversations stretch across multiple windows. Voice messages are played at double speed, as if giving someone full attention has become a luxury. We share everything but live so little. We talk about moments we didn't even fully feel, because while they were happening, we were already busy thinking about how to capture them. What was once intimate has become content. What was meant to be lived has turned into material for posts. What was only ours has become public even before it became a memory. And without realizing it, we're losing something essential: the depth of our connections. When was the last time you had a long conversation, one that stretches across time, without interruptions? When was the last time you looked someone in the eyes and truly felt whole there, present, without rush? When was the last time you experienced something so intense, so beautiful, that you chose not to tell anyone, just to keep it as a secret? Between you and life, these questions are uncomfortable. And you know why? Because, if we're honest, most of us don't remember. It's becoming rare. Too rare. The logic of constant exposure has turned relationships into performances. Affection has become a caption, joy, a filter, pain, an outburst in a story. And there's nothing wrong with sharing. The problem is living only for that. Because when everything has to be shown, nothing is fully felt. The moments that require silence, listening, presence are invaded by a notification, by an automatic reply, by the impulse to grab the phone. We're together, but alone, connected, but absent, physically present, but emotionally divided. And no, technology didn't create this emptiness, it just exposed it. The digital world only gave us new ways to avoid presence, to avoid ourselves. Today, instead of going deeper, we jump around. Instead of listening, we respond. Instead of waiting, we rush. And the result? People who sleep next to each other but live far apart. Couples who barely talk. Friendships kept alive by memes. Families who only meet on a screen. Moments that become photos, but not memories. This superficiality makes us sick, because human beings were born for deep connection. Our biology responds to touch, to gaze, to shared silence. Our nervous system finds shelter in the real presence of another human being. But for that, something rare is needed today. Wholeness, being truly there, not with your mind somewhere else, not with your eyes on 3 apps at once, not with the impulse to capture everything. There's something deeply revolutionary about simply being with someone whole, present, truly listening, not trying to use the moment, not thinking about how it will perform on social media. And there's something profoundly healing about experiencing something beautiful and choosing not to tell anyone, just feeling it, just remembering it, like a sacred secret between you and life. If we want to reclaim our connections, we need to relearn not to run away, relearn not to share everything, relearn to find value in what is intimate, simple, silent. Presence has power, but it requires practice. It demands a new pact with time, with the other, with the now. Today, few people can be alone in silence for more than 5 minutes. The discomfort is almost physical. The mind screams, the body fidgets. The urge to fill the void with any distraction feels uncontrollable. But why? Because in silence you can't run from yourself. It reveals what's hidden, amplifies what's been ignored, exposes the mess that digital distractions try to cover up. And that's why we avoid it so much. But it's exactly why silence heals. Silence is a rebellion against the imposed pace. It's a quiet scream from those who refuse to live only in noise. It's the resistance of those who choose to listen to what their own soul is trying to say. And no, we're not talking about formal meditation, spiritual retreats, or advanced techniques. We're talking about something simple and, precisely because of that, powerful, true pause. The choice to do nothing for a few minutes. The decision to sit and breathe. To walk without headphones. To eat lunch looking at your plate, not the screen. To lie down and listen to what your mind has to say. Without censorship, without hurry, without judgment. This is how we reconnect. With others, with time, with ourselves. Because, in the end, what heals is simply being whole, present, silently alive. Science has confirmed what ancient sages always knew, that silence heals. Recent neuroscience research shows that just 2 minutes of silence are enough to lower heart rate, reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and activate deep areas of the brain linked to memory, introspection, and self-awareness. But silence isn't what we think it is. It's not the absence of stimuli. It's pure presence. Presence of self. In a world that constantly pushes us away from ourselves, silence becomes a portal of return. It gives the nervous system a chance to reorganize. It grants the brain the pause it needs to process, integrate, consolidate, and maybe, just maybe, that's exactly why so many people feel shattered, unfocused, rootless, because there's never time to digest life itself. The mind, like the body, needs digestion, just as the stomach needs time to absorb food. The soul needs space to absorb experiences. Without that space, everything passes, but nothing stays. We do live, yes, but we live in draft mode. We accumulate moments, but those moments slip through our fingers like sand. We live in a rush and forget just as quickly. In this scenario, silence is more than the absence of sound. It's the table where the soul sits. It's the pause where memory rests. It's the room where the spirit finally breathes. But this reunion with silence isn't relearned overnight. Silencing is a practice. It's uncomfortable at first. Like any withdrawal, the mind screams, the body squirms, the urge to grab your phone hits in seconds. But if you resist, something begins to happen. You start to listen to yourself. Not the social, edited, optimized version of yourself, but what's underneath. The emotions left unnamed, the thoughts you avoided, the desires that were silenced. It's there in that silent ground that the reunion begins. And the more you silence, the more you feel. And the more you feel, the more you remember. And the more you remember, the more you recognize yourself. What once felt like a frightening void begins to feel like home. So here's an invitation, simple yet revolutionary. After watching this video, pause. 5 minutes. No music, no headphones, no screens. Just you. Breathe. Watch your thoughts. Resist the urge to fill the space and see what emerges. Don't expect some magical revelation, because the magic, really, is simply the return of your own presence. In this noisy world, silence is an act of rebellion, and in this hurried time, reclaiming yourself is the greatest act of courage, because life doesn't need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. It just needs to be felt, and you only feel when you're present, and you're only present when you're whole.